Some of the toughest conversations that we can have in relationships is when we talk about money and sex. And when the research, some of the toughest conversations you can have in a relationship is when you talk about money and sex. When you do the research, those are the two top things that come up time and time again with why couples break up. And that's the purpose of this episode today, is to help you navigate those conversations with your wife or your partner. This topic can be so challenging, and I've previously struggled with it in my past relationships because talking about it got me so emotionally charged that I couldn't express what I wanted or how I felt, and ended up leaving every conversation frustrated, and most of the time ended in a fight. I now have an amazing partner where we talk about this stuff all the time, and we can have these conversations very freely and it being very productive, where we both feel happy and excited to move forward in whatever way we choose. So to get started, the first step you need to do out of the 5 steps is you need to learn to pre-frame your conversations. I think of this as building a matrix. If you've ever watched The Matrix, Neo goes into this simulated matrix that his team sets up for him where he can train and practice different things. Well, that's what pre-framing a conversation is. You're building a room for you and your partner to have a conversation that is safe and that you both feel like you can talk without massive repercussions. So how do you do that? How do you build that matrix? How do you build that frame? First thing you need to do is talk about your goal. What is the purpose of this conversation? For myself, if it's to do with sex, I'll flat out to my wife, babe, I love you so much and I want to continue having this amazing relationship with you. Out of this relationship, I want us to be able to talk about sex more. I want to be able to have more sex. The intentions, again, I love you. I'm bringing this up because I care about us, because I want us to be able to talk about this stuff freely. I bring it up because I don't want to separate and drift away from each other. And then lastly, in that pre-framing, bring up the rules. These aren't hard and fast rules. It's just a set of guidelines to help you both navigate this bit of a tricky and tumultuous, or can be tumultuous, conversation. Rules such as, hey, I'm going to talk for a couple minutes and just tell you how I feel. And can you do your best to just let me get everything out, and then you can have a turn to talk. Or if I say anything, for myself, I'm a verbal processor. I have to spit stuff out to be able to make sense of it all. My wife knows that, and so we've established this rule that when I say something like that might kind of sound weird, we don't just jump on it. If you're the other person listening, we don't jump on it. We allow that person to talk their way through it, and that's one of our rules, is that we're both verbal processors. So anything we say in that moment in the beginning isn't always the truth. It's just us trying to navigate it. So that is, so again, to build that matrix, or that pre-frame, you need to have goals and you have intentions, and you need to have a purpose of what you're doing this for, and have a few set of guidelines or rules that you feel comfortable with and that you both can agree on. The second step, and this is probably the easiest and most powerful thing, is to breathe. During these conversations, especially if somebody's getting heated and emotional and stressed out, because let's face it, talking about sex, like we want more sex or we don't want more sex, or we want certain things in sex, can add a lot of levels of vulnerability. And when we get vulnerable, we start breathing faster. So the biggest thing there is to breathe. Breathe slowly. When we are talking about things like money, it's a real deep, it hits us really deep, especially for men, because if we're not making enough, or we want to make more, or maybe, we both feel like we're spending too much, or one of us feels like we're spending too much, whatever it is, it can really hit us in this deep gut kind of feeling. So if we breathe, we won't get that stressed out response. We won't get that fight or flight response. So when you're breathing, think of that inhale, a little more inhale at the top, and then slow exhale. If you need to, and that could be one of your rules, is just say, hey babe, this topic stresses me out a little bit. So if I take a moment to breathe, don't be upset. I just need to do this so I want to stay calm during this and have a productive conversation. And so when you do that breath, it's an inhale, filling up, A little bit more inhale at the top as soon as you feel like you're full, and then slow exhale. If you practice this, you'll get good at it so it doesn't seem so obvious and it doesn't seem like you're getting a bit stressed out. But it takes practice, and allowing yourself to do that and allowing yourself to breathe will help you not be stressed out and not get that spike of adrenaline while this is going, because that is the fastest way to destroy a productive conversation, or could be a productive conversation, is to stop breathing and to get all fired up. Step 3 is to express what you're feeling. I know for guys, it's going to be super tough, but trust me, guys, I tell you this, express how you're feeling. You might not necessarily have all these amazing words that you say. And I know my wife, for example, her vocabulary is crazy. But just admitting and willingly saying, hey, I want to express how I feel in this certain thing. Maybe I'm just frustrated. Maybe I'm angry. Whatever it is, even if you just have a couple there, you need to, is a 3-step process to doing this. It's not just saying I'm mad at you, because if you say I'm mad at you, that starts a fight. It's make a statement or a sensation that is 100% true to you. So for example, when I was talking about sex, it would make my stomach hurt. And I would say that. My stomach hurts thinking about this topic. That is 100% true to me, that nobody can argue. So start with the sensation. I'm feeling this lump in my throat. I'm feeling this lump in my throat when we talk about money, because maybe I feel like you're spending too much, or maybe I feel like we're not aligned, or our goals aren't the same, or whatever it is. So start with sensation. Think so. So S means sensation, whatever sensation you're feeling. Number 2 is the emotion. What emotion are you feeling? If you can be more descriptive, great. There's a really good phrase that when you name it, you tame it. So when you can name your emotion you're feeling, it actually helps to bring down the level of that feeling. So if you're feeling frustrated, angry, upset, disappointed, worried, I know I've been there lots when it comes to sex. That's a tough topic. And actually both these have been previously tough topics for me. But explaining how I felt definitely helped to lower how I felt, funny enough. And then let my partner, my wife, now know how I was feeling. With that comes connection, because the more I tell her how I feel, and again, guys, this is like a weird thing. We have to get past that idea that if I tell them how I feel, I am weak. There's a time to be weak, and there's a time to show vulnerability, and then there's a time to be strong. In these tough conversations, you're setting that, remember, you're in that matrix now. It's safe in that room. You need to tell her how you feel without getting mad at her, but just tell her the emotion you're feeling, not you, and it's how you feel, not how she made you feel. There's a difference. You make me feel angry, mad, frustrated, whatever, that's a fight. You're doing this. You're fighting. If you say, I feel this way, I feel frustrated with our money right now, I feel angry that we don't have enough money to go on a trip, or angry that I have this stupid job that I hate and it's not paying me anything, or I feel angry because my boss didn't give me a raise, whatever it is, that's 100% on you. That is inarguable. Nobody can say that that's not true. And then the last step there is, what do you want? What do you want moving forward? Always think of what the feeling is you want, and how and where do you want to feel that. So for me, if it's, use the topic of sex, I want to have sex more. Keep it simple. I want to have sex more. Okay, great. I'm putting it out there. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I want. I want more sex. That now is putting it in her court. The key there is that I'm not attaching massive expectations, expecting all these things right away. But I'm at least just telling you, this is what I need, or this is what I want moving forward. I don't want to feel angry when we talk about sex, or feel like we're in a sexless relationship, or feel like we have no money, and leave it. From there, you need to pause and let your partner talk. Let her express how she feels. Hopefully you can set that same ground rules, and she can follow that same suit of sensation where she's feeling what she wants. But I found, especially for me, is that if I talk slowly, I don't get fired up as much. I don't get as angry. I don't get as frustrated. I don't get as annoyed. And you get those little voices that pop up sometimes, even during those conversations, but you don't latch on to them. You can, when you talk slowly, you can feel them kind of drift away. So talking slowly and pausing also help you to keep the breathing down, going back to step 2, and allow you to keep your adrenaline down and not get fired up. Talking slowly also allows you to think before you speak and not just react, because that is a primal thing, that is a defensive thing when we just react to anything somebody says. And that doesn't help in this conversation, especially if you're in a relationship that you're wanting to be in. Once your partner says their part, expresses how they feel, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. I find it really helpful, and I've had a lot of couples say the same thing, is that when they repeat what their partner said, it doesn't mean word for word, it just shows that you understand what they're saying. So let me get this straight, babe. You want to have more sex with me, but you feel that I'm on my phone a lot, and whenever we're together, I'm not paying any attention to you. Yes, okay, I don't have to do anything there. I'm just at least acknowledging that that's how she's feeling, and that is what's true to her, or she's feeling upset or not seen or not heard. Recently with my wife, it was because I do coaching, I coach football, there's a lot of football right now, I work full-time, have a business I'm building. There's a lot of time going to other things. My wife, Emily, recently said, hey, I don't feel like you're paying enough attention to me. And she wants more time, focus time for her. And so me repeating that and understanding that helped me now being able to navigate and move forward. So then this brings up the next step. So once you talk slowly in that conversation, so that's step 4, is talking slowly and pausing often if you need to, so you don't get fired up, don't get angry, and you can stay calm, repeat what they said. And then the 5th, and this is so powerful, everybody I've ever shared this with, and you can use this in so many things, is what does that mean to you? So, great example, my wife said, I feel like you're not spending any time with me, or I feel like I'm on the back burner and I'm not important. It's okay. So what do you want? I want more one-on-one time with you. Okay. What does that mean to you? Because my one-on-one time could mean something completely different from her. My one-on-one time might be us working out in the gym. Her one-on-one time was us going for a bike ride. Totally different things. But I need to know that now, because now, especially for guys, you know it's true. We like direction most of the time. We want direction on how to do this. And having that little bit of guidance, having some, hey, you know what? I love it. I love it when you write me notes. Okay, cool. Like, I can do that. Some direction is always helpful. So when things like your girlfriend, your wife come up to you and say, hey, I want more quality time with you. What does quality time look like? She says, I want more intimacy. What does intimacy look like to you? Bring it back to them to be very specific on what they want. And it not only works for them and you knowing what they want, but it also works the other way. Is when you say, hey babe, I want more sex. She goes, what does that mean? It means I want to have actual, like, in bed, you and me naked 4 times a week. Right? Whatever it is. Or I feel like we need to earn more money, and right now we should start that business that we've been talking about for months, because I'm tired of not having any money and not being able to do this. Asking what it looks like to them is probably the most important part of the actual conversation here, in the conversational piece, because it's making it very clear. You're wiping away all the mud and all the fog that can come up during the conversation, because it'll happen. But when you get very clear on what they want and what that looks like to them, now it's just up to you, the man, or if you're listening, you're a woman, it's up to you as a woman to make a decision, to put in the work, to do this thing that you want or could want to do. I've done this so many times, and every time I found it so powerful, because now I have a very clear goal of what that looks like. Now when I'm planning my day, I'll make sure I'll have one thing in there every day for, hey, Emily likes flowers. I need to make sure I go get her a flower at one point today. Just find one, even on the, honestly, sometimes even just on the, driving down the street and there's some nice flowers, I'll go pick one. I know it seems weird, but she loves it, so why not? And I want to have these things. I want to have more sex, have more money, all that sort of stuff. Why not do that? when you do this and have this conversation and practice this, understand and this is the bonus one here. So those are 5 steps. The bonus one is understanding that you have to allow for grace. You have to have grace when you go into these conversations, because not only for yourself, because you will fumble through it, and that's part of pre-framing. Hey babe, I want to have this conversation. I might fumble through it. Understand that I'm going to fumble through it. Understanding that the other person after isn't going to get it 100% all the time. It's impossible. It is impossible to do this 100% of the time, every time, for you or them. But if you look at their actions as a whole, then I think you'll be in a good spot. If you're in a relationship where you can see that person, hey babe, I really like it when I come home and I've had to work a 10-hour shift and I'm super exhausted. Can you give me like 20 minutes to just relax before we go into stuff that needs to be done tonight? And you see your partner does that, allows you to do it on the first 2-3 days and then forgets on the next day. Just understand that she did it on those other few days. It's okay. Allow for grace. Allow for, say, hey babe, remember we had that conversation? Can I have that 20 minutes before we dive into this other stuff? 9 times out of 10, she'll say, yeah, you know what, you're right. I totally forgot. Great. Moving on. Not only that, when you do that, it builds trust. And that is the linchpin. That's the key. The keystone of that any relationship is trust. And it helps to build that trust. And I'll give you a warning here. A warning of things to not say, because this will kill any relationship. Any romantic relationship will die using the words never and always. You never do this. You never do that. You always treat me this way. You always say this. That is the fastest way to end relationships. I know this because I've been in the relationships before, and it was tumultuous and terrible. And those phrases flew around all the time. Guilty as charged. So staying away from always and never versus specific situations, or hey, it feels like this. So to recap, and I'll kind of put in a conversation so that way, if you're somebody like me that needs to hear it a few times, and maybe what does it sound like in a conversation, you got to pre-frame the conversation. Hey babe, I want to talk about sex, and I'm bringing this up because I love you so much and I love being in this relationship, and I want to be able to talk about this topic and to be able to feel really good when I think about talking about sex with you. And I want to have some rules in place. So, or is it okay if I just talk for a couple minutes without you saying anything, or just listen to what I'm saying for just a couple minutes, and then you can have, and then you can say whatever you need to say. I just need to get the stuff off my chest because it's bugging me. Is that okay? Yes. Good. Step 2, breathe. Before you start talking, big breath, go slow. Express how you're feeling. So that's step 3. Talk about how you're feeling. Hey babe, I'm feeling this lump in my throat right now. I'm feeling this, my stomach feels like, I feel like I'm gonna puke. I feel like my guts are turning inside out. I feel this weight on my shoulders, whatever it is. And the next one on there is the emotion. What emotion are you feeling? I'm feeling super frustrated right now. I'm thinking about our sex life. Feeling super annoyed thinking about our money situation right now. And what I want to be able to feel free to say whatever I want to say with our relationship, and be able to have a relationship where we can have sex 3 times a week and have money to be able to go on a vacation 2 times a year. It is, just remember, when you're expressing how you're feeling, it's 100% true to you and inarguable. It's not you make me feel this way, because nobody can tell you how you feel. You choose how you feel. It's inarguable. It's 100% true to you. It's how you feel, not how the other person's making you feel. Hopefully that makes sense. So I feel this way. Next is to talk, or step 4 is to talk slow. Pause when you need to. Allow yourself to process your thoughts. Don't just ramble from one to the next, to next, to next, to next, because the more you do that, the more confusing it is. So allow yourself to pause. Once your partner responds, remember to repeat what they said. Not word for word, but just understanding. It helps them understand that you hear them. So babe, what you're saying is that if if we had more dates, or if we went on some more dates, like going for walks and intentional one-on-one time together, you'd probably feel more seen and feel sexy, and you might want to have more sex more often. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Great. Now you know. Super clear. Okay, babe. So you want to have more dates. What does that mean to you? Give me an example what that looks like. Be very clear. Ask clarifying questions. What does that look like? What does more quality time look like? What does more money look like? What is vacation? You say when I book on vacations, are we going to Bali for a month, or is that going out camping for a weekend? What does that look like to you? You said you want more intimacy. What does that look like to you? What does intimacy mean to you? I don't know what that means. What does it mean to you? Get very clear. Ask clarifying questions. And then the bonus there, to recap, is to allow for grace. Allow that somebody during this conversation will make a mistake. Both of you will probably make a mistake, not only during the conversation, but after. Nobody's going to get it right 100% of the time. It's impossible. So allow that person that grace, and when you know them well, you'll know that they want to and they're trying to do their best, and allow for that. Allow them to do their best, knowing that their mistakes might come. So if you found this valuable, please share it. I know there are men out there that are in relationships that they really want to be in, but they are struggling to talk about sex, that they're struggling to talk about money. I know this because there's men close to me that struggle with this topic, and that I talk about with them, and I'm working with them on this. It is so underutilized, this skill, and we need to develop it, guys. So if you haven't yet, please share this episode. Please tell a friend about it. If you're not sure, if you're feeling confused by some of the stuff, or maybe you need 30 minutes just to talk this stuff out, please reach out to the website at lifepurposely.ca. I'd love to help you out and connect with you. And last, I'm really excited because me and my wife are actually moving this podcast. We are going to continue to do this podcast, which I'm excited about, but I'm going to branch out a little bit and add one that is specifically for relationships. Because everywhere I look and everywhere I go, relationships are everywhere, especially romantic relationships. But there's not many how-to guides. And we've been told time and time again how many people that, what do we do in our relationship, how it works. And this is why I'm sharing this stuff. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how we, in person, live, talk about how we talk about sex, how we talk about money, how we talk about kids and our goals and our future and anything that we want. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye for now.